Welcome back to Let's Talk Race and Ireland. I'm your host, Harrison Paul. Today we talk about something a little bit more domestic. Irish citizen moved out of his home by Gardaí after racist death threats. Now, of course, we're still in the zone, still in the mode of the UK riots that are taking place across the country. But really, it's just a conjoint movement at this moment, isn't it? It's the same heartbeat. It's Elon. It's everything. It's Tate. It's Nigel. It's the British, the Union Jack, the tricolour. But this is a brother of ours, a good friend of mine, actually. We've been fighting hand in hand as well. A brother who doesn't fray from fighting for black people. I have always enough respect for brothers who will just understand that, this is not something we should just scurry on with our life and get on with our lives. And that's actually what he said in the caption. He says, "Black people have been threatened all our lives in Ireland. Most just go on along with it. If you're going to do something, at least you get to do it in front of the world and not behind closed doors and windows of Ireland. I urge every person of colour, migrants and minorities in Ireland to come together as one and stop ourselves from being re-oppressed." I love how he used that term there. And today, what I wanted to talk about in totality, especially in me bringing in what's happening now at the moment in regards to the riots in the UK and even in Belfast, everything, is what effect this is having on us psychologically. What effect this is having on us psychologically. My lady showed me a TikTok of a young lady who was talking about, guys, after this, we're going to need therapy. And I know that there are a lot of people who are too cool for school and don't want to come across as weak, don't want to come across as, human. And we want to show that we can handle anything. There's nothing that scares us. There's nothing that intimidates us. We should be able to go through this very unnormal situation, very barbaric situation, very, being born and from a land that does not accept you, that doesn't accept you. And it's funny because I want to add this in as well. I was coming in the house today and we all have neighbors who are iffy. Of course, we greet each other with a smile. Of course, we greet each other with a nice greeting, but you can sense that the greeting doesn't go right down to the soul, isn't it? It's just kind of level, surface-based. And some would say everyone has a bit of a falling out with the neighbors. Yeah, but you can feel that they have a judgment of your background and who you are. Well, anyway, smart people can be able to diagnose this. A lot of shallow people won't be able to diagnose this, or people who don't have a great judgment of character. But I knocked on the door because I didn't have my keys, to hand quickly. Knocked on the door, and a lady answered the door, and she said, I thought, because of course today were the riots. She said, I thought the way you knocked the door twice, I thought the rioters were behind you. And, so I ran the door, people chase you to the door. And I go, nah, it's just the neighbors. It's awkward, awkward there because you're kind of like, hi, And so I said, that's why. She goes, yeah, still the rioters, the other type of rioters. And I was like, wow, babe, that's the one right there, They are the rioters. This is why I think it's essential that we do not just dump this on the balaclava boys, because they're a very average middle class old couple, but you feel that in the air. You feel their perspective, their narrow-minded perspective. You feel, I can feel the, topic and smell the topic of immigration off of them. And I told a story on my Instagram story, but I'm going to tell it here on this page, of one time I was sitting in my room and I could overhear a neighbor, my neighbor, who's actually an old lady. She is like Zimmer frame type old, again, middle class, and even, her children come and visit her, who are obviously grown and with family, who have families of their own. And you can tell as well by who they are as they come here. They are people who would be upper middle class, I would say. And she was having a chat with the other neighbor of mine, who's a middle class male as well. Sorry about that. Single man with a child. Again, he would be now, I would say, probably in his late 50s. And they were chatting about, and this was a year ago, funny enough. And they were like, we're only a tiny land. We can't, British accent now, but we can't take in all these migrants. And they didn't know I was hearing it from up top. And this real self-pity perspective, self-pity. Now, I want you to understand, lucky for me, that fell on the ears of an absolute proud radical. My newfound knowledge, my newfound study, my understanding of this topic, my understanding of a lot of things of the psyche of the black man living in Europe, it enables me to combat everything in this society that goes unlabeled. It's just lingering in the air. There's an energy. And I remember I'm tying this into how this affects us psychologically. I'm tying into how my brother Conan is going through a situation where he's having to be moved out of his house. And actually previously to this, he had to fight against a racist landlord who really cheated him out of his home and kicked him out of his home, unjustly. So I'm thinking about all these things that black people go through, whether it be work, whether it be everything, and how that affects us psychologically. So I'm thinking about everything that I've learned, everything that I've become. I can combat it because I know where you came from. I know where you came from. And when I look across at my brothers and sisters, it just seems to me that without us knowing, we do not realize how much we have internalized from what it means to be black in Europe. My last episode, I spent time a little bit criticizing the psyche and of the black man in Europe. I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see it. But today, I actually now want to show the other side of that, which is to empathize with your human. We always talk about the term integration. The versatility of the black man to numb what really should be hurting him, to numb riots, to numb riots hope against you, to numb even watching other people. I wish they wouldn't have gone ahead and rioted, but I do have a point. Oh, no, not you. Other people like you, but not you. You just about made the cut. Because, most of your people are criminals, but not you. You just about made the cut. What does that do to your psyche? What does that do to your psyche? Oh, goodness me, I just about made the cut. Think of it. Okay, for my football heads. I don't know if anybody remembers when they were younger and they got signed for a team. And you remember, so I don't know if anybody had a moment like this, but I remember even overhearing moments like this of like, you know what? I thought about not giving you a permanent little contract or keeping you permanently, but I'm going to give you a go. Think of that. Maybe you done football or anything, or maybe a job or anything. I thought about not giving you a go, but you know what? You just about made it. I'm going to give you a shot. I'm going to give you this opportunity. How does your next few weeks look like in that job, in that team, training for my football heads, training? Are you relaxed? Are you playing your best? Are you playing comfortably? Are you enjoying your football, as I would say? Are you being yourself? Or are you going to pass the ball when you're thinking, you know what, I wouldn't want to lose the ball in this moment? Again, football analogy for my football heads. What's I'm gonna give this now to anyone who doesn't watch football. One of the greatest managers, for me, the greatest manager of all time, Pep Guardiola. I love when I watch his behind the scenes moments that they let out. And one of my favorite ones, he says to them, they came in at halftime, and he knows his team, right? He knows their capability, and he had this real defeated energy, and he just goes, guys, he's Spanish. I cannot play. You have to play with courage. I think I'll try and get the clip and I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see it.
I know it's difficult, guys. I know because you want to win. I know that, guys. I know you want to win. But you have to learn to play football with courage. Our best thing in our season is because it doesn't matter where we were, we play with a character, with courage to play. For what? To arrive to the final. What sense is arrive to the final and don't do what we have done all the season? Because at the end, we will have to go in quarterfinals in one place in Champions League. And you have to show who we are. And that is the test you have to do. As we play short here, always to find Nico, Bini.
You have to play with courage. Because he's watching all of them throw away the beautiful skills God placed in each individual because of the nervousness that they're under. Because of maybe it's in the final stages of a cup. You don't want to make the mistake. When usually a player will pick up the ball and run with it and be spontaneous and dig deep inside of himself and do that thing that he can do. Now he'll turn and he'll give the ball. He's not playing with courage. He's afraid to get the ball. That's another thing that Pep always says. He goes, I want people who want the ball. You have to want the ball. And now that I'm getting mature and I'm understanding football, and you understand, there's times when players don't want the ball. Can you imagine that? You're playing for a big team, but I can imagine you got 80,000 people watching you, and you thinking, I don't want to be the one that lost the ball that was converted into a goal against us. So now we go back to the example. This is the African in Europe. Oh, come on, somebody. You're not playing with freedom. Oh, come on, somebody. You're not playing with freedom. And even when you think you are, you're dodging narratives. Come on, somebody. You're jumping over assumptions. Come on, people. Come on, people. Come on, people. The psyche of the black man is completely been hijacked. And we call this a colonized mind. Why is it a colonized mind? Because the two questions, the elephants in the room. Someone asked me today, they said, Harry, it's all the government. The government, I always hear that. The government divides us. The government, not buying it. Listen, I'm a heterosexual man. There's never a time in my life that you could put males in front of me or any sort of male in front of me that will be of any interest to me. The best option you have is to bring my lady, because I am a heterosexual male. You can only appeal to what is already sitting inside of me. So when I say the government, they cause a division. No. The government can't sell adults Barbies. Adults don't like Barbies anymore. You can't sell children, I don't know, toddlers books. You know, books about colonization. She wants a Barbie. You cannot give what is not sitting inside the people. So then the question is, it is already sitting inside those people. And then I bring back the example of the neighbor that I have, the one I knew that was racist. We had an issue where we were very suspicious of, let's just say, they had scratched my father's car. And they scratched the car and we confronted them about it and they just looked guilty. Sounds strange. Older couple, sounds strange. But they did not like seeing a black man driving a nice car. Some would say, I don't give a crap what you care. No. Please don't be shallow. When you have been told that this man, historically, this man is an intellectually lesser than you, you are faced with so much conflict in your mind, inside of you, when you have to ask yourself, how is a black man or woman doing better than me? I was told for so long that I was better than them. And I want to tell you how deep this runs. It's like the couch is there for sitting. It's always been that way. No one necessarily taught you. It's just always been that way. There are certain things that have just been a part of the furniture when it comes to life. That's just the way that we grew up learning things, that you speak through your mouth and you go through the toilet on your backside. Just things that always seemed a part of this human existence. Well, when the foundations of this earth told us that if you speak English, that means you're intelligent. Intelligence only comes in the form of English or any other European language. It does not come in the form of an African language. That's why I can guarantee you, all the people who are shouting at us to integrate and to get their language and to grasp their language, that if they were to go to Africa and if they were able to manage in such a way where they couldn't grasp any African language, I can guarantee you they would expect the people they're living with, if they could manage those people to understand them, find a way to understand them, but they would never feel a conviction inside them that says, am I enough because I cannot speak Lingala? Am I enough because I cannot speak Shona? Am I enough because I cannot speak Mosa? No, oh, come on. That will not actually come in their mind. Why? Because the foundations of this earth tells us that is not the language of intelligence. We have to get to the foundation, the corrupt foundation of this earth. The whole ideology, the concept that the West were the professionals at democracy. They have upended every single place that they have gone to. And now they're still eating off the legacy of the systems that they placed in these countries that we now call corrupt countries. And they eat from the legacy of their corruption. Their corruption. And we now look at them as the champions of democracy. It becomes so difficult for people. This is not about a government. This is about the foundations of this earth. The foundations of this earth. And I want to tell you something special. The black and brown man, people, when you say it's not skin color. You are met with a completely different human being than yourself, with completely different morals. People of the soil. African people are complete. So when you're conflicted with everything that you've been taught about this black or brown person, everything you've been taught is primitive, and everything you've been taught is developed. You were not originally taught that one was just a different design of intelligence. You were taught that one is primitive and one is developed. The same way we were taught one design is a design of beauty, and the other is a subgenre. That's why more times the most beautiful women, quote unquote, even in our category, in our community, are the ones who mostly more times have Eurocentric type features. I think that's closer to Eurocentric. My question I always ask myself is, who were we? What was cool? What was hot? What was beautiful? What was intelligence before we were upended? What was it? The foundations of this earth. Would Jordan Peterson be intelligent to us as Africans? On what we deemed as intelligent? Guys, the deconstructing that we're going to have to do in this world to really get to the bottom of it. So you have people here, it's not the government. The government only appeal to them because the government feel the same feelings about the very same people, which is black and brown people. That's what it is. Don't blame the government. That's a scapegoat. Don't blame balaclava people. It's your forefathers who trickled down this belief. And I think I moved away too quickly from the couch example. If you always thought that was a couch, and now you are having to reconstruct and say, by the way, the couch is where you go to the toilet, and the toilet is a couch. It would take some time for that to make sense in your brain. There are aspects to, I don't know. Now your mind is glued to the dirt in the toilet, but now you're supposed to be finding the toilet as a clean place to sit and relax. But your mind keeps clinging to all these subconscious things of, is it clean in here? I remember that this was always supposed to be a dirty place, and this is what happens with the West. All these narratives, and now we think, I'm accepting because I have a friend who's black and I sit beside him in work. And the only room the black man has to assist a peaceful society in the West is if he does not disrupt these norms that are in the back of the subconscious mind. That is why a black man that stands rebelliously and tall brings conflict. We need him to be in a poor and lowly and begging, just grateful to be accepted by your society. Shouldn't he dare to walk around like the world revolves around? He shouldn't dare. He shouldn't dare climb in certain positions and take up certain roles that make a person question everything that they were taught. A black man? A black woman? I have a story of my mother. I shared on my Instagram stories, share a lot of personal stories, my Instagram stories, and she had a landlord in Ireland. And we spoke about landlords with Conan. She had a landlord in Ireland, and they said to her, and my mom used to work in a bank in Zimbabwe, and she's always been into finances. So when she was only fresh in Ireland a little bit, and she was seeing if she can get into finance, and she applied for a job and got an interview for the bank, one of the banks in Ireland, and she was talking to her landlord. Again, of course, this woman is an upper class, more so middle upper class, and she was talking to the landlord lady, and she wasn't the landlord, it was the wife of the landlord, and she said to her, I just chatting. I applied a job for the bank. I got it back, and I went to it, and it's just being humble. Just say, I hope I get it. I just didn't think I did quite well, and just gave her an inch. That's why as a black man, you gotta stand tall. Gave her an inch. I don't think I got it. She goes. She looked at her. From the moment she said bank, she looked at her and said, like, oh, jeez, you're over your own head. How do I tell this African woman? something about her that I don't think she knows about herself. They're only recovering from primitive. They're only just grasping civilization. How do I tell this lady? I said to him, you know what, Magdalene? My mother's name. Do you know what type of jobs I see your type of people do? Oh. You know what type of jobs? You know Tesco. That's it, folks. Gonna sign off right there. This is what I say. This is when I say nice white people. Of course, nice Irish lady. Just trying to help. Don't hurt your head. You're an African. Surely, of course, you were not gonna get that. And funny enough, she worked at the bank at some stage as well in her life. Guys, it's got nothing to do with the government. That situation that took place had nothing to do with the government. Immigration wasn't a conversation. It was the rooted belief system, the rooted value system in this world. What is right and what is wrong. What is civilized and what is not. And we are still recovering from the fact that not long ago it was quote unquote scientifically proven that the black man was 3/5 of a human being. One of the things I'm learning as I am intrigued and fascinated by the human species and human behavior is how hard is it, one of my elders used to say to me, if a man cannot change even for himself, who can he change for? He was trying to make me let go of somebody and I was struggling to let go. And they would always say to me, if a man cannot change even for himself, then who can he change for? Meaning the unisex term of a man. How hard it is for humans to let go of certain behaviors. We underestimate things that followed us from generation to generation, the beliefs that trickle down. And then when we are living amongst black and brown people, this integration, we are met with the conflict, the ghost of our ancestor is conflicted with the world that lives amongst us today, which is integrated. And the ghost of our ancestors, and not to let me not get it messed up too, the ghost of their ancestors, white people's ancestors, is conflicted when it's now having to see this black or brown person up close and face the truth, debunking all the lies that were in their subconscious minds. And us ourselves are met with the conflicting emotion of the ghost of our ancestors is met with the conflicting moment of this current day. We also suffer trauma. You are not too macho. I had a brother, thanking him so much, came back to me quite recently and let me know, he's like, brother. And I remember the first conversation I had with him, I was like, brother, you ever get with white people and you try to change the way you talk, you feel like you have to? And he's like, nah, not me. I've always been confident in myself. And I was like, okay. So maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just how I reflected on myself. He came back to me the other day, he goes, bro, I was in the midst of like a posh white person the other day, and I just found myself feeling I had to come up to a certain, to meet a criteria as a black person. But and I went away from that encounter saying, why did you do that? Why did you feel the need why do you often feel the need? Self-reflection. A lot of black people are not wanting to do the decolonized work. Because we've got too much pride, right? I'm smart. You're not too smart for the the chaos that took place generation after generation after generation. We all have decolonizing to do. And I'm asking myself, if only we knew, if only we knew what damage this environment does to us as black people. So much we've normalized it, guys. We've normalized so many things. Like, many of us are watching the riots happening. Yeah, you might be scared going home, whatever. But that level of hatred towards you, that level of just everything that's going on, even the pity. I had a few white people kind of looking at me, trying to show, by the way, I'm seeing what's going on in the news. I don't hate you, you know. You're welcome here. You know, it's just dealing with all these emotions. Am I a pity party? Am I a force to be reckoned with? What am I? The concept that we're all human, you cut me on blood, no. We are certainly different types of human beings. And we should embrace the difference. They are humans, you get it. The same way right now we'll go to bloody, I don't know, Alba regions and encounter with those humans from those tribes, and you're encountering with something so foreign from who you are. Differences to you, and you will find yourself having to say, what tells me my way of living is better than theirs? That will be the point of the encounter. The point of the encounter, the point of God's creation is that there are completely different types of human beings. I was talking to a mother of a mixed race child today, and I said, you're a white woman. A black man gave you his seed. I'm sure you can see in your children when they stand alongside white kids, there's something different. There's a black seed in my kid, not just his skin, his demeanor, his mannerisms. I see my son, he's mixed, he's got a white mother, but I see there's a difference in him compared to his sister. I see it. It's there. It's the African DNA, the mannerisms, the way he goes about his and there's a conflict in us about what we've been taught about these differences. And so many of them are subconscious. If only we knew that. So we only wait and prepare for the ones that are superficial. And once we feel we have ticked those off, right, don't treat anybody less. Don't such and such. It's very superficial. And then when the nuances of this actually hits us, that is when you see the chaos. That's when you see people saying, you know what? This immigration thing is not working. You know what? And lastly, before I go, what tells you that a black and brown person is more susceptible to crime than a white person? That's not just rooted. We watched the white man chop a black boy off with a sword. The black boy died. No one rallied about it. We watched Lucy Letby kill 7 babies as she was trusted as a white nurse. No one protested. Everyone's saying, I'm afraid to walk outside my door now. Where that fear is rooted in the foundational beliefs that these people are barbaric and animalistic. Let's get to the root of the belief. Of course you feel unsafe. Your forefathers told you, and I could quote Cecile Rhodes, I have seen these people as despicable and they need to be civilized. This was written in their notes when they first encountered the black man. And you don't know, you are still living in the curse of his declaration. So you got a fear you're clutching your bag. And a lot of times the black man hears the trauma that we internalize that. So you got brothers in the ghettos who just saying, oh, maybe I am dangerous. Then you go to other people, like I said, the football people, who are just trying to, like the Olympics, jumping over stereotypes. Your whole life garnering energy to show and to put yourself in a way that says, look at me, I'm a black. That's why we love the saying black excellence. White people ain't saying white excellence because it's that energy to say I'm, not just because someone called you an N-word, because you feel it in every day. I am above the stereotype. I do have a right to be an individual. Black excellence. It's there, it's plain. What we struggle with psychologically. That's why we celebrate when we see a black couple win Love Island. We are beautiful. Like, we're beautiful enough to win a Love Island. Yeah, I know you thought you believed it, but that's why you actually shocked when it happens, huh? That's why you're shocked when you see something that amplifies your worth. I knew I was saying it to myself, but whoa, here it is happening. Yeah, you knew the world around you didn't really believe it. It was words. We know that's possible because even the Bible, the Lord said Christ said to the Pharisees, you praise me with your lips, but your heart is far from me. So we know your mouth is able to say one thing and your heart believes something completely different. We know everyone can recite beliefs of we are all one, everybody kumbaya. The truth is that really are these beliefs really embedded in our society today? The answer is no. That's all for today. This episode was to talk about the seriousness of my brother who had to move and everything that's been going on with the riots. How do we really think this is going to affect the minds of our people, of our children? That's why the African Negro is so lost, identity lost. Just trying to keep up with what his master, just trying to keep up in his master's eyes. He's lost himself. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, and lastly, anybody who wants any help, if you feel you have any personal stories, any personal situations you've gone through, and you need help personally, you can click the link in my bio. I will take the time. I'll be more than happy to take the time out and speak to you and have a phone call with you and just discuss your situation with you about decolonizing your mind. I want to be able to take time to talk to everyone individually and just get to, it's a journey. It's a journey. It's very intricate and detailed. I'm going to try my best to just connect with brothers and sisters. So please click the link in the bio. I'll be more than happy to help you out, and we can chat about it and, just support each other during this journey. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And I'm on a mission for you.